Welcome yogis, I'm Tovah and thanks for joining today's flow yoga class. We're gonna hop on our mats and get right into some nice movement-based practice today. Starting standing at the top of your mat. Let your arms relax down by your sides, maybe turning your palms to face forward. As you open through the chest and shoulders, draw your chin back. Lift your chin just a little as you begin to breathe deeply. Beginning today's practice with a few deep, strong, centering breaths. Continuing to breathe deeply throughout today's flow practice. And as a good rule of thumb, at any time if you notice that your breath starts to get a little labored, a little bit ragged, you find it's hard for you to take deep, strong, slow breaths, I like to use that as a sign to say, I need to slow my practice down a little bit more, I need to make it a little bit easier. Or a good time to choose a couple of options throughout the class that are a little bit gentler so that you don't have to work so hard. Bringing your hands to your heart, opening your eyes if they were closed, beginning the practice with a few easy sun salutations, releasing the palms, inhale, reaching up, looking up, and exhale, soften your knees as you swan dive forward. Inhale, lifting partway up, fingers sliding up the thighs. Exhale as you reach for the floor, hopping or stepping back into a plank. And then from knees or toes, lowering to your mat. Elbows tuck in by the sides, turn the toes, and inhale, peel away from the floor. Lift your chin, lift your eyes as you draw your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. Release and press up and back to downward facing dog, using knees or using toes. Being gentle with our body here as we're just getting warmed up. Exploring a couple of breaths in downward facing dog, maybe pedaling your feet a little bit, shifting your hips around, moving your shoulders, your arms, and then just eventually settling in here. Looking to your hands, stepping there. Exhale, relax your back, fold forward. Inhale, eyes up, chest up as you lift with a nice strong spine. Exhale, repeating, folding forward, bowing your head. Let your body hang here. Inhale, lifting partway. And exhale as you come to the floor, coming into that high push-up position, easing yourself down to the mat. Turn the toes in, inhale, peel from the floor. Exhale, release, press up and back. Again, moving to downward facing dog. As you aim to root your knuckles into the mat, relax your neck. Your ears should touch your arm bone if you tip your head just to the side. As you turn your sitting bones high to the roof. Looking to your hands, inhale, hopping or stepping there. And then exhale as you release your head, your neck, your spine. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Taking one more sun salutation here. Exhale as you pour forward through the hips, bow your head. Inhale, lifting, looking just forward. Reaching for your mat, stepping back, lowering, melting down. Turn the toes in, inhale, lift, shine your heart ahead. Exhale, release, pressing up and back to down dog. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. Perfect. Eyes looking forward as you step towards your hands. Release your head and neck as you fold forward. And inhale, lift to come all the way to the top. Bringing your hands to heart center or Anjali Mudra. Taking a long step back with your right leg. And you're gonna turn your toes so they're about 45 degrees towards the front so that you can turn your hip points all the way towards the front of your mat. And if they don't easily make it there or you feel stress in your hip or your knee, bring the toes further forward. As you bring your arms up to come into warrior one. Remember, when we lift our arms above our head here, this might be wide, the hands might be together, your arms might need to be more forward. So find the position that you can be in that's comfortable for your shoulders. Breathe as we bend into the front knee, rooting our full back foot against the mat. And now take the hands behind your head and just gently draw the elbows back. See if you can maybe turn your eyes or your gaze up towards the ceiling, finding just a little bit more of a back bend here. Breathing deep. And releasing the arms. Walking your back foot a little further back to warrior two position. As we take our arms behind our back, either lacing your fingers or just reaching your arms anywhere behind you is perfect. As you bend the front knee and fold forward into humble warrior, pulling your hands off your back and letting them fly. And here's where, if your shoulders are a little bit tighter, if it's hard for you to clasp your fingers, you're gonna wanna let your arms go here so that they can really lift up and away from your buttocks. Drop your chin as you lunge and bend in towards the front knee. Inhale, come all the way back up, bring your hands to heart. Stepping up to the top of your mat. Taking one sun salutation here. Inhale, arms sweep and reach up high. Exhale as you swan dive forward, bow your head, drop your chin. Inhale, lengthen and lift. And exhale as you reach for the floor, coming to high plank. Easing down to the mat. Roll the toes under and inhale, lifting one vertebrae at a time. Release and press up and back to downward facing dog. Draw your belly button in and up towards your heart. Looking to your hands. Inhale, hopper step there, looking forward. And exhale, release, dropping your chin. Inhale, lift to come up, lifting straight up with a nice straight back. Bring your hands down to your heart. As we move through that series on the opposite side, stepping back with the left leg, and try if you can to align your heel with your heel in warrior one position. But of course, if your balance isn't as good, you can always train track the legs and take them a little further apart. As we turn our hip points forward, swooping up with the arms, reaching up, looking up if you can, look forward if that's more comfortable or more appropriate for you today. Deep breath here. Now taking the hands behind the head and then try to draw the elbows back as you turn your heart up towards the roof. Keep bending into the front knee. Perfect. Releasing the arms as you open briefly into warrior two. So scooch the back leg a little further back, bend the front knee. Take the arms behind your back, lacing or letting them fly like mine as you bend forward, dropping your head down towards your front knee. Tuck your chin. Let your arms fly here in humble warrior. Inhale, lift to come all the way back up. Bring your hands to heart. Stepping back to the top of your mat. Releasing your palms. Inhale and exhale, fold to the front. Lengthen your back and lift. Reaching for your mat. Stepping or hopping back to plank. Lowering from knees or from toes. Elbows squeeze by your sides. Lifting. Opening as you inhale and exhale. Engage your core as you lift and draw yourself back. Soften your knees in downward dog, taking some of the tension out of your lower back, your hamstrings, and just coming to the place where there's just a tiny little bit of tension. Holding for a few breaths here. Perfect. Looking to your hands, stepping or hopping there. Exhale, relax your back, fold down. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. Stepping back with your right leg, turning it flat to the mat. Opening up the arms and straightening the legs as we move into Trikonasana or triangle pose. Draw your hips back, extend forward and reach down towards your front shin. Soften the front knee a little bit here if you feel any stress in the knee or if you feel like you're locking. And if you feel like you're rolling forward or you're not very open, bring your hand higher up to your knee or your thigh so that you can really open up, because this is about opening here. So we want to be very open in triangle pose. If you're looking for a little added challenge or change, take your top hand and reach it over your head as you lengthen out. Really feel a deeper stretch through your side body. Breathe. Added challenge here, lift the bottom hand out to meet the other hand, making your core work a little bit harder. For 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come all the way back up. Bring your hands to heart, stepping to the top of your mat. Taking your feet, knees, and ankles together as you squat down into chair pose or Utkatasana. Breathe here as you feel your core engaging. Press your palms together as you squeeze through the center. And now stepping up and pressing back, stepping back with the right leg, pointing your toes off the side edge of your mat as we begin to move into wide leg forward fold. So start by stretching your arms out, and your ankles should be about as wide as your wrists, give or take here. So we're not going into the splits. Taking the arms back, open up, find a little baby back bend. And then as we fold forward, soften the knees just a touch if you need here, but don't allow yourself to come into a big knee bend. If need be, bring the floor a little higher. Tuck a block or a cushion or a bolster underneath your hands. Try to take the weight out of the heels as you shift your weight just a little farther forward, opening up through the back body. And this is particularly challenging if your hamstrings are really tight. And that's also why we don't want to come into a giant knee bend here, because then that means we're going to lose a lot of the stretch in our hamstrings. So soft knee, yes. Giant knee bend. Let's bring the floor a little bit higher instead. Perfect. Inhale, start to come all the way back up to the top. You're going to bring your heels in so that your toes are pointing outward. As you squat in a wide squat, let your knees point towards your toes. Lift your arms up like you're lifting to the heavens and look up for goddess pose or temple pose here. Perfect. And lift to come all the way up. Draw your hands down to your heart. Stepping to the top of your mat, taking one sun salutation here. Inhale, arms sweep high. And exhale, pour to the front. Inhale, lengthen your back and lift. And exhale, reach for the ground. Coming to high push-up or plank and easing yourself from knees or from toes. Turn the toes and inhale, breathe deep. And exhale, release. Press up and back. Eyes looking to hands, hopping or stepping there. Exhale as you fold, melt. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands back, down to heart center. As you regroup your breath, moving into that series on the opposite side, stepping way back with your left leg, turning it flat to the mat, aiming to line up your heel with your arch here. As you stretch your arms out, lift the kneecap, engage the thighs as we move into triangle. Hips draw back as you reach forward and bring your hand wherever it just comfortably gets to. Trying to force it lower is often what causes a big rounding and your bum to scoot out the back in triangle pose. So think a little higher on your thigh, a little more openness as you roll open and flat like you're pressed between two pieces of glass. Now, if you like, take the top hand, reach it over your head, really stretch out here. And if you wish, lift the bottom arm up to match it. Breathe for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come all the way back up. Perfect. Bring your hands to your heart as you step back to the top of your mat. Squeezing through the center line of the body, pressing the palms together, knees together, ankles together, thighs together as we sit into chair or awkward pose as it's called in yoga. Perfect. Pressing up, straightening the legs, stepping back with your left leg as you turn to face the side of your mat. Coming into that wide-legged forward fold one more time, stretching the arms open, look up. And then exhale as you fold down, reaching for the floor, or remember you could be reaching for a block or 2 blocks here, 3 blocks, whatever you need. Soften the knees a little bit if you feel like you're locking, but avoiding a deep knee bend. Let your neck just dangle and hang heavy as you release some tension through your spine as well. Perfect. Begin to lift yourself back up to the top with a nice flat back, and then turning your toes out towards the side edges of your mat. As you begin to come into that deep squat, knees going wide, lift your arms up as you look up as we come into God or Goddess pose here, or sometimes called temple. Breathe and just really soak it all in here. Perfect. Inhale, straighten the legs, draw your hands back down to your heart. Stepping back to the top of your mat. Taking one last sun salutation in today's practice. Inhale, sweep high, and exhale as we pour forward. Bow your chin. Inhale, lengthen your back and lift. And exhale as you reach for your mat, stepping back, lowering. Inhale for cobra or taking upward facing dog here. And exhale, press to downward facing dog. Finding your breath when you arrive here. Perfect. And you're going to bring your knees down to your mat, coming into resting child's pose as we just slow things down for the last few moments of today's practice. Allow your head to come to the mat. Feel free to rest it on a cushion or your hands here if you prefer. And allowing your body to start to slow down a little bit from the flow practice. Slowly start to bring yourself back up to the top of your mat and just finding a nice, comfortable seat. Thank you so much for joining me in today's practice. And today's practice is perfect just on its own, but if you're feeling like you want a little bit more yoga time, this would be wonderful if you stacked it with one of my yin yoga classes Or if you're feeling like you just want to go right into Savasana and stay there for 10 minutes, there's a couple of Savasana practices on my channel as well. I'll put the link to both of those classes on the description below. And if you did really enjoy today's class, consider helping support my channel by buying me a cup of coffee, and you can find that link in the description as well. Don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thanks for joining. Namaste.